gently rolling fertile countryside set in the heart of a very special region, Umbria, where everything invites you to peace and well-being of body and mind. Legend has it that a long, long time ago, an eagle suddenly appeared in the sky over the heads of a group of peasants who had laid a cloth on the grass for their meal. The eagle swooped down and seized the cloth, carrying it up to the ridge of a green hill set in the heart of the Umbrian countryside. An unmistakable sign of the destiny that would mark the birth of one of Italy's most fascinating towns of art, Todi. Today, the best way of visiting Todi is on foot. You can leave your car in the large parking area at Porta Orvietana and take the small funicular railway up to the centre. This short trip gives you the chance to see the wonderful views from the town walls. Todi is famous for its wonderful position, for the quality of life and for the perfect balance between town and countryside. So much so that a survey conducted in 1989 by an American university pinpointed it as the most livable town in the world. So it's no surprise to find that many foreigners live in and around Todi, choosing it as their second home. Like all ancient places in Italy, the town is rich in history and tradition. One way of starting our visit is from underground. A maze of tunnels and passageways runs underneath the hill on which the town stands. Many of the tunnels serve to collect rainwater, which was channeled into 2 underground reservoirs, each consisting of 12 cisterns, located beneath Piazza del Popolo, the ancient Roman Forum. These interconnected cisterns, dating from the 1st century BC, provided the town's water supply. They are works of skilled hydraulic engineering and could still be used today if required. Now let's leave the Roman age and move on to the 12th and 13th centuries, the period when the last town walls were built, expanding the area beyond the original settlement. This was the period when the 3 major public buildings, or palazzos, were erected, as well as the church of San Fortunato. And master craftsmen from the Comacini family were summoned to decorate the cathedral, or Duomo. During this period, the municipality expanded to the south, taking in the towns of Amelia and Terni. And it was also the time when the fame of Todi's most illustrious citizen, Jacopone, spread all over Italy, building up the town's reputation. And yet the real Todi arose thousands of years previously, at the time of the Umbri tribes, on the edge, or Tudor in their language, of the Etruscan world. The town continued to flourish even when it became part of the Papal States, as witnessed by one of its most important churches, Santa Maria della Consolazione. One of the major Renaissance works in Umbria, the church was built outside the medieval town walls, which by that time, the early 16th century, had lost their defensive purpose. focal point of the bright interior, with its simple and noble architecture, is an imposing altar dating from 1643, part of which is made up of a 14th century fresco of the Madonna of the Consolation, whose miracles were the inspiration for the church's foundation. All around there are statues of the apostles, making the whole setting elegant and solemn. There are also several depictions of the legendary eagle, now the town's emblem, which we shall come across during our visit. Now we reach the heart of the town, Piazza del Popolo. Built over a large Roman forum and pleasingly irregular in shape, it is one of the most original and evocative places in the town. On one side is the imposing facade of the cathedral, and on the facing sides, the three public palazzos with civil and municipal offices: the Palazzo del Capitano, the Palazzo del Popolo, and the Palazzo dei Priori. The first two create a harmonious whole, a fine example of medieval rigour and symmetry. Here is the grand external stairway, together with the Gothic mullioned windows. The battlements were added later, and the various adornments. The striking image of the eagle, which seems to follow us around on our visit, appears again at the new entrance to the Civic Museum, housed on the top floors of the Palazzo del Capitano and the Palazzo del Popolo. Some of the splendid rooms are given over to archaeological material and ceramics, as well as collections of coins and fabrics, witnessing the town's long and important history. Interesting items include a marble slab from San Fortunato depicting Christ and the saints Fortunato and Cassiano, dating from the 12th century, and the model for the Church of the Consolation, dating from when it was erected. The museum also includes a fine collection of paintings, panels and processional banners dating from the 16th and 17th centuries.
And who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time. Who knows, only time. Who knows, only time.
The imposing cathedral, dating from the 12th century, stands on the higher part of the piazza in sharp contrast with the public buildings, representing temporal power. The monumental facade is approached by a wide flight of steps and is embellished by 3 rose windows and 3 Gothic portals. The central portal is richly decorated with wooden bas-reliefs dating from the 16th century. The vast interior is in the Romanesque style and has 3 naves with a side nave in the Gothic style, containing many works of art. The spectacular inner wall of the facade was completely frescoed by Ferrau da Faenza in 1596, at the height of the Counter-Reformation, with a scene depicting the Day of Judgment. A colourful stained-glass window on the right depicts the baptism of Christ, and is a copy of a painting by Perugino. There is also a painting of the Trinity by Giovanni di Pietro, known as Lo Spagna, as well as 2 finely wrought altarpieces and a crucifix above the main altar attributed to the 13th century Umbrian school. Furthermore, the inlaid choir stalls are a masterpiece of the woodcarver's art. Now let's take a look at Todi today, a modern town bustling with activity. It is full of visitors all year round, yet the urban layout makes it possible to escape from the hubbub in order to discover quaint little corners, both old and new. Todi is a flourishing town, supported by industries and prestigious banks such as the Banca Popolare di Todi, forming part of the BPU group, which was founded more than 120 years ago, and which contributes significantly to the social and economic development of the whole region. You can visit the town without preparing a fixed itinerary. Every hidden corner holds a surprise. Beginning with the famous walls, divided into various concentric circles, marking the expansion of the town over time, like a sort of stone clock. The first 2 rings of walls were built by the Romans for defensive purposes and to extend the town's area. Then came the medieval town walls, still perfectly preserved, in spite of the fact that they were the scene of numerous battles between Guelphs, Ghibellines and nearby towns. Then there are the main sites from the various periods. The Nicchioni Romani, Roman niches. The Scannabecco fountain, built in 1241 by the governor of Todi to supply the town with water. The ancient church of Sant'Ilario, now San Carlo, with its simple facade in the Lombard style and a tall bell tower. The town is a maze of narrow streets covering every inch of the hill and invites us to take a leisurely stroll. Up to the remains of the massive 14th century rocca, now a beautiful public garden, situated on the ridge of the hill, which enables us to imagine the impregnable defences of a town that was never completely conquered. There is a wonderful view from the Rocca looking out over the splendid Umbrian countryside. But the cloister of the monastery of the Lucrezie, which can be reached by a short walk from the cathedral, has the most spectacular view over the town. The monastery began as a Franciscan convent in 1389, set up by Lucrezia della Genga and some of the sisters who had decided to live according to the Franciscan rule. The focal point of the complex is the magnificent cloister, from which there is a wonderful view over the valley of the river Tiber. A little lower down is the Eagle's Nest, Nido dell'Aquila, a broad terrace backed by massive walls which recall the legend of the town's foundation. The Church of the Nunziatina, just a short distance from the cathedral, was erected in the early 17th century and takes its name from the Company of the Annunziata, whose mission was to welcome pilgrims and help them during times of calamity and plague. The original wooden beam roof, embossed with carved and gilded features, was destroyed by fire in 1699, after which it was rebuilt in masonry and decorated with frescoes by Paolo Barba. The frescoes on the walls by Andrea Pollinori show scenes from the life of the Virgin. There is a very interesting copy of a work by Paolo Veronese depicting the wedding of Cana, as well as a painting with a portrait of the Blessed Jacopone. Another of the town's churches gives us the chance to learn more about the life and work of Todi's most famous citizen, Jacopone. Jacopo de' Benedetti was born in Todi in 1230. As a young man, he led a carefree and privileged life before becoming a notary. But his life was changed by a dramatic event. His wife, Vanna, was killed when a roof collapsed during a feast. After 10 years spent in solitary meditation, he joined the order of the Minor Friars, strictly observing the Franciscan rule. Jacopone left witness of his deep faith in a major work consisting of 90 prayers in which he declares his strong belief in mysticism. The work represents an important literary achievement since it is written in the common Italian language, not in Latin. His remains lie in the crypt of the Church of San Fortunato, which is dedicated to the bishop who became the town's patron saint. The church is situated in a splendid position at the town's highest point. Construction began in 1292, commissioned by Cardinal Matteo d'Acquasparta. The unfinished facade has a fine central portal with a pointed arch, flanked by slender columns decorated with spirals and garlands, as well as figures of prophets and saints. The interior of this beautiful church is divided into 3 immense naves in the Gothic style. The harmonious space is broken up by rows of pillars and is enhanced by many works of art. One of the main works is a delightful 15th century fresco by Masolino da Panicale, depicting an enthroned Virgin with a child flanked by angels. Beneath the main altar is the late 16th century crypt with a sarcophagus holding the remains of Jacopone. Another example of this immense artistic heritage is one of the oldest churches in the town, Santa Maria in Camuccia, which dates back to the 7th century. The building is in fact made up of 2 churches, one above the other, and it contains an interesting collection of archaeological remains and medieval frescoes. However, the most significant work is a wonderful medieval statue dating from the 12th century, known as Sede Sapientiae, Seat of Wisdom, showing the Virgin with child. This work contains many symbols relating to the cult of the Virgin Mary, and once again shows Todi's wealth of history and culture. Todi has a full program of events all year round, attracting artists, performers and visitors from many countries. The splendid 19th century Civic Theatre has an interesting winter program and also hosts many of the events of the Todi Arts Festival, an important cultural occasion which takes place in July with many cinema, theatre, music, dance and visual arts shows, including artists and performers from many countries.
Una creatura sincera, l'amore mio non sbaglia, sei vera, 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 vera. Molesta, molesta l'idea che si presta, ho la voglia di vederti di nuovo,
Then there is the famous Antiques Show, held in spring, with some of the leading names in the Italian antiquarian world, as well as the open-air country fair, an interesting wine and food festival held in late October. Our visit to Todi is coming to an end, and the eagle now carries us further away. We leave this wonderful place with a touch of nostalgia. It is a unique corner of Italy with so much history and so many traditions that we leave it with the strong feeling of having enjoyed, albeit briefly, a truly unforgettable experience.